In videos 1 and 2 of this Blackboard test series, we've shown you how to create question pools, random blocks of questions, and assemble these into a test. Now, in this third video, we'll show you how to make your test available to your students. We'll also discuss the mobile test option that was referred to in one of our earlier videos. Firstly, you need to think about where you're going to place the test in the module. As it's not part of summative formal assessment for the module, you would most likely include tests in one of your content areas, such as alongside the learning materials for the module, or create new areas specifically dedicated to tests. Once you've made that decision, navigate to that part of your module, and from the Create Assessment menu, you would choose Test, the first option. Just a small note here that you can also see an option for Mobile Compatible Test. We'll mention those in just a few minutes and explain what they are. From the Create Test page, you will need to choose from the available list the test that you want to make available to your students. You could create a new test from here, and that would lead you to the test creation canvas to be able to create or reuse questions that you've already seen in this video. Choosing your test from the available list and clicking Submit will then allow you to set the final test options. There are only a few last elements to consider when deploying your test. Firstly, a name and description for the students. Secondly, the availability. Can the students take the test immediately? You can tick yes and then control its availability with dates if you know when you want the test to be taken. You can also define how many attempts students have to do the test. As we're considering using the test as an aid to formative learning, and Blackboard records each attempt at the test, think about what's going to work best. Unlimited attempts, or a fixed number with direction to remedial learning if the student doesn't achieve a minimum score. There are some other options on this page too, notably defining if your test will provide students with a score, their submitted answers, the correct answers, and appropriate feedback. You should also specify how the test is to be displayed, where you can control if students will see all the questions at once or one at a time. Will they be presented in a random order, which happens automatically with a random block generated test that we're looking at here? And if you allow the students to backtrack and revisit questions they've already completed. Once you've chosen these options, the test will appear in the module with every student attempt marked and scored accordingly in the grade center. That was a very quick review of how you can build a question pool and then use them in your Blackboard tests. Finally, just a few words on the mobile compatible test option we mentioned earlier. Our students are increasingly accessing their modules on their own mobile devices, be it an Apple iPhone or iPad, or an Android-based tablet or smartphone such as a Galaxy Tab or S4. That's great for them on a mobility point of view, because it means they can catch up and review material or participate in discussions at times and locations that might ordinarily be considered dead time, such as while travelling on the train or on a break at work. But trying to access Blackboard on a small 4-inch screen doesn't give the best experience, which is why the Blackboard Mobile Learn app is available to them as a free download. By choosing a mobile compatible test, you take advantage of the smarter presentation that the app gives and it makes taking a test on a mobile device much easier and intuitive. So how does this feature work? Is it different from creating a normal test? The simple answer to that question is no. It's not different. It's exactly the same as setting up a single test. If anything, as you can see from this shot, the settings interface is much simpler and streamlined. After defining your test settings, you would then proceed to add questions along with answers and feedback using a simplified version of the question creation tool that provides basic on-screen guides leading you through the process. There are, however, a few important factors to remember about a mobile compatible test. Firstly, with a mobile compatible test, currently only 7 question types are available, which may restrict the viability of you using a mobile compatible test. The question types available are calculated numeric, file response, where the student submits a file from their device or Dropbox account, fill in multiple blanks, hotspot, multiple choice, short answer, and true or false. Secondly, you have to create questions for each mobile test you create. You can't draw them from an existing test pool that you may have. However, any questions created for a mobile test are available for you to include in standard tests that you may make. Thirdly and finally, if you create a mobile test, you don't have to create a standard version as well. A mobile compatible test works and displays perfectly well in a normal web browser on a computer. They will simply lack any of the extra features that are specific to each of the mobile platforms, such as being able to digitally sign the student's name.